This is Mastering Your Wealth with David Gagnon, the podcast.
Yes, welcome to the show, folks. We appreciate you joining us. Sit back, relax, as I like to say, and grab a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, whatever works for you, and enjoy the show. We have so much to talk about. Of course, we are in that post-election season. Everyone's, taking bets. What's coming up next? What's 2025 going to look like? We're going to dive into that. And as always, David, welcome, my friend. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing today?
I am doing fantastic. We are past Thanksgiving. I feel like I don't need to eat for a month. It's just kind of one of those things where you purge and then you get the leftovers and all the desserts. And now I got a couple of weeks to kind of get on the straight and narrow before I do it again for Christmas.
I prepare a couple of turkeys, and then after the turkeys are done with, I make a big pot of turkey soup or stew, and we eat that for about a week.
Nice.
It's really good. I'm a great cook. I hate to say it, but I'm a great cook.
Listen, toot your horn when you can, man. I get you.
Yeah, I like to cook. And on the grill. We'll grill all year round. I like to eat. That's the thing. Back in the day, I met my wife in college. She didn't know anything about cooking, but she's turned into a great cook over the years. And she always liked her food bland. She never had a lot of spicy food growing up. And I've had her turn the corner on that. And so she'll eat things that have spice in it now. So.
Well, I love that. Like I said, I love that you love to cook, right? It's all about the recipes and finding that special secret sauce, as I say. Everyone's kind of got something. Oh, my secret chili or grandma's, mashed potatoes or apple pie or whatever it is. Everyone's got like a little something that they always bring to the table for the holidays. So if that sounds like you out there, I hope you're getting ready for Christmas and end of year and planning for New Year's. I think everyone's ready to turn the page on 2024. And we're going to talk a little bit about that with end of year planning, what you need to be doing besides pulling out all the recipes and all the plans for the holidays. You have to remember your money, your finances, because listen, folks, 2025 is going to be a big, big deal. We have lots happening, lots changing, a new president coming into the White House, which means lots of things changing on the docket here. So want to make sure you're ahead of the game there. Again, the phone number 203-872-0009. And the election is over. I know we are all excited about that, but that just means now it's time to start placing your bets and seeing where the stock market is going. Lots of predictions for 2025 coming in, and they don't all agree. Morgan Stanley believes that the S&P 500 is going to go up 11% with an outside chance of 30%. So we're going to break that down into English in a minute. Goldman Sachs is encouraging people to pull back on risk and diversify. So how is a person getting ready for retirement supposed to decide where and how and when and to take all these different viewpoints in, David?
You should never make your investment decisions based on all these speculations. If you're really going to make your investment decisions on what you're hearing out in the media, you have a 50% chance of getting it right, and it's going to be very risky. So what we will do with people that reach out to us is, first of all, do a portfolio analysis on how they're invested, just to assess what kind of risk they're exposed to, what kind of returns they might be getting. But at the end of the day, you really want to design your investment plan strategy that's strategically invested so it's aligned with your investment needs, goals, solutions, and what you need to create so that you're going to live that retirement lifestyle you hope to have with a minimal amount of risk, minimal amount of taxes. Tax planning is very important. But what we have to do is really do a detailed analysis, looking into the future with what you're doing today, so then we can see what problems might lie ahead and what other things that might be in your blind spot that you're not taking advantage of that are better aligned with your solutions and benefits. So we can build an investment plan so that you gain on the upside and are protected on the downside with built-in buffers and airbags and the right, not only strategies, but the product types. And so you don't have to play the guessing game with this type of speculation and how you should invest. You need to tailor your investment plan strategy, incorporate the tools that are out there to get the upside when the market's providing some favorable results, and protect you on the downside. Mm-hmm. And this is something that a lot of people aren't familiar with and aren't aware that it even exists in planning, because all they've been doing is when they are working in their accumulation years, they're saving what they can, they're putting what they can into their 401k or IRAs, And there's a big investment world of opportunity out there besides mutual funds, stocks, and bonds. And we show people how to build their investment plan strategy with the tools that the millionaires use, the very successful people, because they do things differently. And that's what we want our clients to do.
Exactly. Yeah. We all catch ourselves saying, gosh, how do they do this to become so wealthy? Or what are the wealthy doing that they're not paying as much taxes as I am? Well, it all comes down to different tools and strategies and what works for you. And in this specific situation, we're talking about, the market. What are the predictions for 2025? Do you take more risk? Do you take risk off the table? It all kind of depends on where you are in that retirement roadmap as well. How much heat can you stand in the kitchen, so to speak? And making sure that you capitalize on the gains, but you also have that protection is key. If you want to know how to tailor a plan that is customized to your wants, your needs, desires, also gives you that gains and protection, come in today. We'll do a custom investment plan for you. David will sit down with you one-on-one. Again, the website, if you want more information about David and see everything that he does. Also, there's always a way to communicate with him via the website. Again, masteringyourwealthradio.com. Personal finance expert Susie Orman. She loves to talk about successful retirement. And on her Women in Money podcast, she said there's one thing that can particularly erode that goal.
It's not just in retirement that you should cut this expense. I'm just going to really talk about one, but there's one expense that happens over and over and over again, and that expense is eating out. For you to have money, you have to learn to live below your means, but within your needs. You do that by simply purchasing needs versus wants.
Okay, so needs versus wants. Listen, we all can understand that concept. I think we all get that. But listen, there's things that come up. It's so-and-so's birthday. Oh, it's just one night. Oh, we won't eat out for the next 2 weeks. There's always an excuse, right? So we all get that when it comes to saving for retirement. But I have to know, once we take that step and we leave the workforce, David, can you design a plan where retirees, we're not living below our means. We're not stressed out about going for that birthday dinner. How do you do this?
Well, what we find out when we start evaluating people's finances, their money isn't generating or working hard enough for them to generate the return with the minimal amount of risk that they need to really get a nice cash flow that they can depend on, that can help them maybe live the lifestyle that they would like to have. I just worked on a couple that we put together a plan analysis for. They've been working with an advisor for the past 12 years, and they just saw that they were kind of going backwards in their retirement nest egg because they were selling off shares of their mutual funds to give themselves a paycheck every month to pay the bills. And what I found was that, first of all, they lost money in the market in 2022. Their income portion of their retirement plan or their investment plan was generating very, very low income yields. And so when we did the analysis showing what it might look like in the future, they ran a high probability of running out of money in their late 70s. And so what we did was we put together a strategic investment plan, income distribution plan design, that when we did the plan overview and restructured everything, we increased their yields by 64%, reduced their risk by 36%. And this was using tools that they never knew existed, income tools especially, where the yields are much higher than what they're getting in their bond funds and their CDs or the fixed annuities. And this pays monthly. And so we were able to just take a fraction of their portfolio to create the income that they needed, because we were able to make their dollars work harder for income. And then we were able to build a backup plan for long-term inflation offsets and things like that, with investing the rest of the money in their nest egg differently, and also had a backup strategy. So if somebody passed away, we had an income replacement plan for the surviving spouse, because things change when somebody dies, right? So, you're going to lose one of the two Social Securities. Out-of-pocket health care is a strategy we try to incorporate without having the need to buy traditional expensive long-term care insurance policies. And so this couple, unfortunately, they went through the first few years of retirement depleting their nest egg, not knowing that there was a better alternative, a better way to plan for it by using different tools and doing things differently. And these are things that are in your blind spot that we bring to light. And this is why it's so important that folks reach out to us to get a second opinion. because a lot of times we see things that they don't, or maybe their current advisors aren't helping them with, or giving them answers. Because that's what prompted this couple to call us. They would ask the advisor, should we be doing anything differently? Is everything okay? And they didn't go beyond the cookie cutter mutual fund portfolio that they had this couple invested in for the last 12 years, and there was no change. There was no validation that they're doing okay. And so the details of our analysis will bring to light a financial x-ray that we can depict what might be a problem in the future and what things you're not taking advantage of to really improve the situation and give you a better footing for your retirement with a much higher probability of financial success. So I encourage those that are really not too certain whether things are going to work out long term, because trying to plan your money out and stretch it out for the next 10 to 15, 30, 35 years in some cases is a huge challenge, because a lot of things can derail your retirement. So if you're looking for better clarity, give us a call. Let us do that comprehensive forecast analysis and investment portfolio analysis and give you a second opinion on how things might look going forward and what things you can improve upon along the way. Our number is 203-872-0009.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity, folks, to really sit down and get a grasp on what your retirement looks like. And that works for a couple of different scenarios here. If you're currently retired, maybe you're just doing a little check-in. Hey, am I still on track? If you are about to retire, when I say about to retire, I mean maybe 1 to 2 years out. If maybe you're 5 years out, it's just a good little check-in. Am I still on track here? Do I need to be doing more or less? How's that working out? So this comprehensive forecast analysis, a great opportunity, folks, to get those questions answered. By the way, when David puts this together for you, he's going to use your actual numbers. So these aren't just like, for example, blah, blah, blah. This is your actual numbers. You're going to see it in real time, how your money's going to work for or against you. And then, of course, compare and contrast. What does your plan look like with David's tools and strategies? What does your plan look like without David's tools and strategies? Then, of course, you be the judge. That website is always masteringyourwealthradio.com.
Jessica, I'll tell you, let me just mention something here. The comment I get most often after people go through this exercise with us is, geez, I wish I met you 5, 10, 15 years ago so I could have made these decisions back then, because I know I would have had more money in retirement, more income, less risk, paying less taxes. It's never too late to start making better financial decisions. You just need to figure out what there is out there that you might be able to do differently, because I hear this over and over and over again. People shouldn't wait a year or two before retirement to try to figure this stuff out, because if we find some of the inefficiencies sooner rather than later, you're just going to get better results later by making better decisions today. So it's what you do today going forward, which is probably the most important decision you're going to make for your financial future. So nobody should delay in getting, I don't care if you're in your 40s or your 50s, even in your 30s, because when we can help people younger and get them on a better track of better financial solutions, they reap the benefits of now time in their favor as an asset to compound these benefits instead of the cost that they might be incurring blindly that they don't see, that we're going to identify if they're happening in their current plan. Procrastination in better financial solutions is what derails many retirements. When you look at all the statistics, procrastinating on making better financial decisions is one of the main causes why people don't meet their retirement goals.
Yeah, 100% procrastination and really not having that education. And I tell you what, if you have a young person, maybe your son or daughter, your grandchild, whomever it is, and you're thinking, man, I don't know what to get them for the holidays, right? They have everything. I'll tell you what the best gift you can give them is saying, hey, you and I are going to go down and we're going to sit down for a complimentary meeting with David Gagnon. He's been in the financial services nearly 40 years. He's going to help you because you're young. Maybe you're 18, 20, 25, whatever it is. He's going to help you start planning now for the next 40, 50 years and how easy it's going to be. In other words, don't make the mistake that a lot of us made. We didn't start saving till our 30s, some of us even in our 40s. Let's start it now so that you have a better future. That literally is the best gift you can give somebody. It's a gift to themselves. They're working hard for their financial future. The website again, masteringyourwealthradio.com.
For more details or to sit down with David for your complimentary financial GPS, visit masteringyourwealthradio.com. David Gagnon is an investment advisor representative of Retirement Wealth Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. First Financial Planners, Retirement Wealth Advisors, and WICC are not affiliated. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered financial advice or a recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Individuals should consult with a professional specializing in the fields of tax, legal, accounting, or investments regarding the applicability of this information for their situation. Past performance is not a guarantee of future result. Investments will fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested.